What is going on, guys? Welcome to B-Tank TV, and today we're going to talk about the Dragon Age Veilguard. So let's just quickly get into what the hell is Dragon Age if you don't know what it is. So Dragon Age is the Veilguard is an action role-playing video game developed by BioWare and published by Electronic Arts. The fourth major game in Dragon Age franchise. The Veilguard is the sequel of Dragon Age Inquisitor. Dragon Age Inquisitor didn't have the best launch, if I remember correctly. Now, I'm not a Dragon Age lord or claim myself to be, but this is a game that I've always heard a lot about. Years ago, when Origin came out, Dragon Age Origin, a friend of mine asked me to give it a shot. It wasn't into RPGs back then, so I never really got around it. But who knows? I thought eventually there'll be a game that comes out with the same franchise that might intrigue me into joining into this fantasy world. But Dragon Age Veilguard seemed to shut that down immediately, given the way they tackle the game. If it's a fantasy game, I do not want to hear about the everyday conversation, the modern audience talk. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear transgenders, fucking gays, homophobias, flags. I don't want to hear that in a fantasy game. Like, I just want to chill the fuck out, especially with the RPG single player game, man. I'm playing it by myself. I don't want to play by myself and have these awkward moments going like, what the fuck did they just say? Why would you do that? What? No. See, I don't want to play a game like that. And that's exactly what this game looks like. From the trailers, from the conversation that these cars seems to be having, it's just, it doesn't appeal to me at all. So it is not a game for me, and I will not be picking this game up. But let's get into it. There's been a lot of controversy, a lot of control. Look at this. The worst scene in Dragon Age Veilguard is just dropped. You can never apologize enough, and you have to do it just the right away. Dragon Age lecture. So they're lecturing people how to apologize inside a game. What kind of game is that, bro? It's a game that has wizards and fucking magic and dragons. Why are we talking about how to apologize? Like, it's just baffling. But let's just listen to this, because I didn't really understand it the first time. I just thought it was so stupid. I was like, what? Okay, Jesus.
Snape's nose. She's still holding the ruby in her other hand. Maker's panties. So proud.
Oh,
Let's see if I can put the volume up
shit.
here.
They're still holding it. Sorry.
what are you doing?
Pulling a barb.
Oh, okay.
Pulling the
barb?
barb.
Tradition in the Lords of Fortune from one of our old members, Barv. Good guy, but like most of us, his plans went sideways a lot. Bad blood among your crew's not good for morale, but there's not always time for big, drawn-out apologies. So when one of us screws up and we know we've screwed up, we do a quick 10 to put it right. Pulling a Barv. Oh, there we go.
Put it up here. That's very open-minded.
I'm glad the Lords of Fortune have Tarsh's back.
Oh, Tarsh isn't the first non-binary
That's
member
not
of
what
the
he
Lords.
said.
Really?
That's not what he said. I thought he said that's very open-minded. And see, when games do this, when they reinterpret what the option that can be selected into some other goddamn dialogue, that shit already pissed me off. I'm not a fan of that, personally. I want to say exactly what's being written there. So it kind of correlate to what my character is doing, but whatever, man.
It was a little before your time, but Horlicks was one of ours. Huh. Bastard looked better than I did in a dress or pants. And out of them, too.
Any reason you can't just apologize?
Sometimes people say, oops, sorry, and hope that fixes it. But they just want to get the whole thing over with. Trust me, I know. But pulling a barb, you sweat a little. Makes you think about it a little more. Shows the other person you mean it.
What if they mean it when they say they're sorry, though?
And that's the other reason. Some people mess up and get all dramatic. They make it about them. Oh, you know, I didn't mean it right. I'd never do that on purpose. They feel so bad about it that it's on everyone else to smooth it over and make them feel better.
Oh, okay. Yes, some people might do that.
Pulling a barb puts it on the person who screwed up. They made the mess, they fix it, done.
Right. Right. She sound like she got bullied by mean girls or some shit. I swear to God. This is like the character design creator thing. It's baffling what this game is going at or what they're trying to do. Steam charts, it hit the 70K mark peak concurrent players, and that's not what we would expect. It started strong but began to slowly die down. Well, we'll see about that, right? It is the first day of the release, so we can't really confirm. Some people are probably waiting for the weekend to sink their teeth into it, but before the weekend we're gonna have more criticism, proper criticism coming out, so we'll see the game for exactly what it is. And by why I say that is that when the game initially, or the codes were given out to like some of the content creators and some of the voices out there that put out these kind of video game content, a lot of the people that usually get some kind of code when it comes to these type of games, they just didn't receive a code at all. And it turned out that it was because they said something negative about Concord, the game that's dead. The studio has been shut down by Sony. If you talk shit about Dustborn, so if you were one of those content creators that talked about one of these titles, mentioned it on your channel, and didn't say great things about it, you were on their blacklist for BioWare/EA about getting a code with this game. They didn't want anyone talking shit about it. And if you look at the scores on Metacritic or like IGN gave the shit a 9 out of 10. Like supposedly better than goddamn Black Myth Wukong, which I highly doubt. But yeah, to look at all these positive reviews. This is Eurogamers, all these other PC gamers, all these other publishers that came out with their reviews early, that got the review codes, so they got to say something nice about the game before it even got out to the general audience. They all give it such a positive look on it. 85, 80, 70, 60. I think the 61 CD action might be the realest review on here, because when I read into it, it sounds like what the game looks like. But then look at all these great game brands, Euro Gamers, Germany, 100. Are you kidding me, bro? Digital, whatever, PlayStation Universe, Giga Game. Some of these I'm not even never heard of, but they're there. Look at that. So they got all of these positive reviews before the games got to the general audience. They just praising it. They're giving it this perception. Forbes doing games. This is still bizarre to me. Dual Shockers, like it's just all positive, all in the 80s, the 90s, the 100s. It just goes and goes and goes, and I'm just scrolling like, look at this. And then they put all the, obviously once the numbers drop to the 7s, the 60s, that's when they're at the very bottom, where a majority of people won't get this far just to like get an oversight of what the game is supposed to be about, But this CD action, I read it earlier. I kind of like the reviews. It seems to be spot on for what the game looked like. So Dragon Age Veilguard leaves us with the impression that we bought the wrong title. Instead of a true RPG, we got a mediocre action adventure game. A scenery scratch to the limit. A scenario scratched to the limit. A poorly constructed world and a monotonous gameplay bored me to tears. And this person gave it a 60, which I think that's a fair review for a game that didn't really meet your expectation of a Dragon Age franchise. I think this kind of fits in exactly to what the game looks like. Characters being changed, all cartoony, looking like a discount Fortnite fantasy world. And you can see right there with the likes and dislikes that people did not agree with this from the jump. From the start, when they revealed these trailers, people just did not like what was coming, and I'm thinking this is just the Dragon Age franchise fans that kind of got offended by this. What are we supposed to be? What are we supposed to be? Some kind of Dragon Suicide Squad? Jesus fuck! This is gonna be. He is right behind me, isn't he? Kind of script. Yeah, exactly. He's right behind me, isn't he? You know, those corny ass Disney lines that they be putting up. Are you sure this is a dark fantasy? Well, it's clearly no longer a dark fantasy. They've kind of scratched that. They've jumped away from that, and they've followed the Dragon Age Fortnite recipe with a fantasy touch to it. And we can see right here the numbers. Are they still dropping? 67. It seems like they are dropping. People are dropping the game real quick. It had a height of 70K, and it's slowly going down on a Friday morning here in Australia. But the review just keeps keep this big positive. And yeah, the internet can finally speak their thoughts now. The normal players, people that have money that they can't just throw at any game anytime something new got released. I think most people are playing either Call of Duty or holding out for Monster Hunt. Unfortunately, we won't be getting the Path of Exile 2 in November. It's being delayed for 3 weeks, so December 6th, but it's fine. Like, they came out, they said it before any controversy can get into it, and I think the audience that are waiting for that games really appreciate it, something like that. But the Veilguard is out right now. You can pick it up, but I would encourage watch one of your favorite streamers, one of your YouTube content creators that you enjoy seeing their content from their perspective. I'll probably wait for an Angry Joe review because, yeah, I like the way he seemed to tackle these games. He doesn't filter it. He says it how it is. And I think we need more content creators like that. But yeah, this has just been a topic online right now. I don't know what the hell to be determined. Okay, Kotaku to be determined. I find that very weird. That is very weird. How is it determined if they already write the review, right? Is this not a review? The Veilguard pulls off all tricks with a level of polish unlike anything the studio done before. Okay. Yeah, see, I don't, why determine the score when you already have a statement to write down? But yeah, IGN did write the shit out of this game. We saw that, and we all know that people don't really trust the IGN reviews anymore. If we jump on the Steam reviews, it's a mostly positive game, which I find very bizarre. I find it so bizarre. Here we got Steam over here. It is on my recommended against by creators you follow, so it doesn't like, I don't get the promotion videos or the promotion cover out, whatever. It just doesn't appear unless I go looking for it. I go out of my way to look for it. Well, we can see here, we start with the positive reviews, just like the Metacritic website. It's all good. It's all positive at the very top. Everyone is enjoying it. People spending 5 hours, giving it thumbs up, 2 hours, let's go. And then finally, we get to see the negative reviews. These are from the November the 1st, which is supposedly the initial release date. Midnight release, I guess, for down here under, because I looked at it yesterday and it wasn't available. But now we can see people saying their true reviews. I guess these are everyday people saying, careful, even though it's listed as Steam Deck verified, it does not work. I have all setting on minimum, but the game always crashes in the first cutscene, unplayable. Okay, so it seems this optimization all along. So they seem to be having some kind of launch issue at the beginning there. It's not Dragon Age as a game. It's decent, but the atmosphere of the previous game is gone. It's like playing Guardian of the Galaxy, which can be fun for some, but it's not Dragon Age. And that's what I personally wanted. So, yeah, it's clear that it has offended the original fandoms that enjoyed this franchise. And it's yeah, given what the Dragon Age used to look like, it used to look dark as hell. RPGs, that's why I wasn't a big fan of RPGs back then. I just find them a little bit too complex, but I just never gave them the chance to play them. But yeah, there you go. Now there's some genuine reviews that are putting the game at a light that makes sense. People are pouring out their hearts over here, saying how bad it is. First impression, not bad to say the least. It's clear reminder that the game studio ain't just names, they're people, and the people have long gone since then. Yeah. So it's clear that the original BioWare is gone. People that used to work for BioWare have moved on to different projects, and they hire a different crew that's taking on the title of BioWare and continuing to make these games. But it's very obvious that people are not enjoying it. The general audience are just not impressed about this way the game is going. But the sales will determine where this game stands. You vote with your wallet, not with your voice. That's how the gaming industry goes. So if enough people, if it doesn't sell enough copies, then we might not see another game, Dragon Age. If it does, then there you go. We might get another one of these. But like I say, each of their own. I'm not the target audience for a game like this. And I feel like I just rambled on for way too long. If you enjoyed the video, please throw a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. Think about subscribing, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace. Adios.